if you're working together to drive your dreams together, you'll even out and you'll start moving at the same pace.
Yeah.
Welcome back again, Shan and Tam fam. Listen, I know that you are just loving this couple, the conversations, the information that's being shared. Trust and accountability are some of the main things that I have taken from this conversation. And you know what? They have more to share with us. So stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. Alvin and Candace is going to continue this crucial conversation about money and relationships.
I don't know if at this point you have some aspects or any aspect of your finances merged, but what does that look like? How do you approach that in terms of merging finances on certain things even?
Well, the merge started off with date nights, right? It was like, there was an innocent account, right? We just opened it and said, let's open up a joint account. How much are you going to commit to putting in every month? How much am I going to commit to putting in every month? It wasn't like, oh, you got to put the same as me. It was like, just how much can you afford to put in, right? Mm-hmm. And so we put in, and that was the money for the major stuff. And then it went from like just a date night account to like, okay, these like vacation to furniture to stuff like, and then it just became, so it started off kind of innocent, but then it turned into, that was our merging, right?
And then now saving for a house.
And then saving for a house. So like it started off small, but then it grew into more than we even expected. As the relationship grew, then that merging, because it happened early, then it became part of our conversation, right?
We created that habit already.
Yeah.
So it wasn't something new, like, oh, you got to throw in $1,000 in here, and it's like, because we had started off creating that habit of it, it was easier to throw in bigger numbers.
Yes.
And to save for bigger things together. Mm-hmm.
And you said something, Tam, earlier about trust. I wanted to just comment on it quickly. Mm-hmm. Trust is a very challenging thing, right? So I think one of the things that early was just not like the non-judgmental conversation.
Yes.
Right. And that's which allowed us to trust each other. Yeah. Because if I say to her, this is what I have or this is what I don't have, and then I see her facial reaction like really, then it's negative reinforcement to say, okay, I'm not going to open up again because last time I did, you threw judgment my way, right?
Yes.
And vice versa. So because I trusted her to, like I always tell her, like, I know that you're just a real person. You're going to tell me exactly what you feel, but you're not going to throw judgment my way. Yeah. So that's why I'm open, and vice versa. She knows that I'm just going, okay, cool. This is where you're at. Okay, how can we fix this and move forward? Which made it easier to have the money conversation, I guess, and to have those joint accounts and to merge stuff together. Because it's not like, oh, you got more than me, I got less than you, or whatever. Then creating bigger problems and judge and divide, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
So I know that you guys spoke a lot about merging finances. Are there any benefits of keeping something separate?
I think so, because like I said, you are an individual. We're both individual people. But the key is to not keep it secret. That's where the disconnect is, where it's like, I have this secret account.
The next money?
This. It's like those things can't work in a relationship. It's like I have my own money to spend it on whatever. We have money together, and then he has his own money. But we're well aware of what each other has.
What we made,
so there's no secret to no secret funds.
Right.
Okay.
I'll tell you guys, we were talking about this a couple of days ago. Yeah. Majority of the families that I've met in the last 12, 13 years that are happy marriages, okay? They know about everything, right? I say majority because obviously there might be, but majority, like they're open, like the finances is like just this thing. It's not like this elephant in the room.
Mhm.
It's they talk about it. Majority the couples that have fighting and all this stuff is always, oh, you got your own thing, you got your own thing. Like I could tell you the amount of times I get a text message when I leave a meeting and say, oh, don't tell my wife or don't tell my husband, but I got such and such with my husband.
Like, why? Oh man.
And it creates so much. Once again, like if you have to hide it, like that to me is not good. Like, so we separate. Yeah, like I want her to be able to feel like she can go spend her money and do her thing. I don't want to.
Yeah, and vice versa.
And then vice versa. But it's not like, oh, like she's there living this secret life and she has her own money and I have no idea what's going on, right?
Yeah, because think about if that person ever finds out.
Yeah.
The trust immediately is gone.
Exactly.
All the things that you've worked towards in a relationship is gone.
Yeah.
Because now they think that you're hiding everything.
Yeah.
This one thing could be, oh, I'm just hiding this thing, but it feels like to the other person like you're hiding everything. And then it just creates a whole divide, and it's just
I agree. It creates a disconnect, right? And that is so true. You guys have so much information to give, and I'm just loving the conversation. What is some advice, that you would give to new couples who are merging their lives together and finances? What are some facts or some pointers, suggestions, advice you would give these couples?
Start early. Start early o'clock. Early o'clock, because the sooner you can create that habit, later on it's just going to be smooth sailing. I think that's one thing that we learn, and be open
and stay humble. Right, like somebody's got it worse, somebody's got it better, but it doesn't matter. Like if you genuinely respect somebody, then you're not going to judge what they're dealing with now, because what they're dealing with now, who knows why it's happening, right? And if you leave the conversation open to discussion, then you're allowing it to evolve into something bigger. And I said it earlier, which is like, I know for me, like I've made a lot of bad decisions financially, and that's why I've learned my lessons the hard way sometimes. So when I came to her about my finances and vice versa, I told her like where I've been. I told her the things that I've had to do and where I came from, knowing that I could trust that she wasn't going to be like, oh, witless and this and that. Like, come on, like, and also too, like getting the positive feel, like, hey, you know what, we got this together, right? And we're gonna do this together.
Because eventually we'll be at this, you'll even out. You'll be at the same level, right?
Yeah.
One person may be lower, one person may be higher, but if you're working together to drive your dreams together, you'll even out and you'll start moving at the same pace.
Yeah. So it's respect.
Yeah.
Respecting each other, staying humble with each other.
Have fun too, man.
Have fun with it.
Yeah.
Don't make money. Don't make money that's like this
thing.
Like, it's not a thing. It's just a tool, right?
Yeah. Right.
So
that's right.
But you only understand that after you be vulnerable and don't let fear take over and stop you from, because I wouldn't have been able to experience this kind of relationship because of my own insecurities and fear. But on the other side of that, we're able to create the possibility of something different. And without that understanding,
people and create your own tradition within your household, right? Like, it's good to get advice, but people don't know what you're dealing with. You know how many times I'm sure the same thing with you, but I mean, you haven't told me this, but so many of my friends that are single or in unhappy relationships, they tell me, man, don't tell her how much money you're making, and like this, like they're it's like, oh, don't get into a relationship, like, relationships are this, relationships are that, and then it's already like planting that seed of disaster. So
marriage too. Don't get married. This and this, and marriage is that. It's like, God, guys, why did you even get married then? What's the point? What is the point? That was a great point, babe. It's create your own tradition and have fun.
We created that. We said, like, people like, oh, date night. We in the beginning, a lot of people didn't understand it, but now it's like it's our thing, right? Because we both work hard for what we do. We see each other. We spend a lot of time together otherwise.
We work
but
together,
that's the time where we just spend quality time and we save for those things and we plan for those things. So it's our tradition, right? So that's one thing. Another thing I would say is create your own tradition within your household, financially and overall, right?
Yeah,
I love that.
That's great.
Love
Yes.
that. I know, like my husband, he's very big on that, like creating traditions, like doing things, because he's always saying that memories are what, like, particularly your children will remember, right? So it's important for us to like create those opportunities where we're creating memories, stuff that will live on. And I know the last time we talked, Alvin, we had talked about how important budgeting was for a family, for a household, and in terms of building that legacy and creating the wealth. But do you think or that budgeting is as equally important individually within the relationship?
Absolutely.
Yes.
So think about it this way, okay? If everybody plays a role, like, and I'm gonna say this lightly, but think of a marriage or a relationship as a business, right? And it, like not is, but let's just say it is, right? So if two people are not doing their job individually, then the whole corporation falls apart.
Yes.
Right? So you know what I mean? So like budgeting to me is I have to be smart with my money. She has to be smart with her money individually, or else if she's not smart or if I'm not smart, then I'm putting pressure on her to pick up my slack. Right. So if I'm out there, spending money and irresponsibly, and she's here, following our plan, and then 5 years pass by, and she's like, "All right, you ready to execute on this plan?" And I'm like, "Oh, sorry, I've been living my best life over here." Right. Right. So I think, like, to answer your question, absolutely. So I don't know if you have anything you want to.
No, you said it perfect. That was perfect. Great analogy.
Yes, you're right. And that's good, because if you don't budget and stuff like that, then when you're come together to do big major things, then you see all the secrets, right?
You're really gonna
so
ask,
that's good.
Where is the money? Where is that money?
Exactly.
Exactly. You start tearing down the house.
Exactly. So I know, Candace, you said something important earlier about purpose and you having your own purpose individually, but also you as a couple having a purpose together, right? And I know single people, you live in your life, you're paying your own bills, but when you come together as a couple, how did you guys agree? Who is going to be paying the bills? Who is going to be doing the investment? How were you guys able to manage that power dynamics and that power struggle between the two of you?
I think for me, listen, you guys get together with whoever you're with, their strengths and their person's weaknesses. Right?
Yes.
So the person's strength. For me, my strength is organizing, creating strategies, budgeting, these kind of things. For Alvin, his is completely different. For me, I trust that he is the head of the house, so I know that he's going to be taking care of different, the financial part of it, like where our money is going to be growing and how it's going to be moved and this and stuff like that. But it's always an open discussion. There's never I'm making this decision, because I remember I still have my independent woman's self. I'm still working on this person. It's in there. So she's in there. So I still need, I still need to be checked on that part too. But we have open discussions, like like we work together. We have a business together. We work in each other, but we're also we want to take the business to another level, and we know our strengths and weaknesses. And so I think for Alvin, he's way better because he's been doing it for so much longer. He has a better grasp of where our finances can go. But strategically and stuff like that, I'm better at like planning things like that.
Okay. we talk about it. Like she said it. It's not like I don't come and say, okay, I'm doing this, right, or whatever. It's like, hey, I come there and say, have this idea. What do you think?
Right.
Right. So we discuss it, right? So it's not like I just go in and live life individually with the money because I maybe take the lead with the money. We open dialogue about it, right? And if she, because I also value her opinion, right?
Absolutely.
I don't want her to ever not feel like she's a part of the decision making process. Even though, yeah, I'm confident in my decisions, but also want her to even she might give me a perspective that is I didn't think about, right? So we come together and she's like, you know what? I don't know this, I don't know that. I'm like, you know what, you're right. Or you know what, well, this is why I did it. And she's like, okay, that makes sense. So then maybe it makes sense to go ahead and do it, right? Now at the same time too, like we talked about money language earlier. I grew up watching my dad not take care of my mom per se, because my mom was very independent. She made her own money, she did her own thing, and my dad's just like, okay, you go do your thing, I'll go do my thing, but they always came together, right? And he was the leader of the household when it came to taking care of the family financially, but he never let my mom was never less than. Right, it was like we're equal, so that's kind of what I saw, so that's what I wanted between us. But at the same time I was like, if she can't pay the bills, I want to make sure that no matter what, I got the household. Like that was my money language, my money blueprint. So I got the money regardless of whether you're working or not. I'm going to take care of the family. But I also know that if I'm falling down and I'm injured, she can pick up the slack and do it. Like I know that, right? So but we talk about everything.
Yeah. I didn't say his parents have been together for 40 years. I didn't even know what that looked like. I didn't understand that. My mom, a single mom, and she was like, went after her goals and whatever she wanted to do. So that's the different perspective on how I saw how things were. So I didn't even understand that a man is going to do these things, because I never saw the role of a man. I had to learn these things on my own, right? So to come into a relationship where this gentleman is telling me about what we are going to do, and this, I didn't sometimes, as an independent person, I wasn't hearing it that way. I was hearing it like, you're gonna tell me what to do, like but that's not the right way to be, right? You have to understand. You have to understand where the person's coming from, right?
That was the biggest learning curve.
Yeah. Right? Because he's like, you don't even need me. I'm like, I do need you. But I do need him. I do. I absolutely do. But I had to humble myself and to really check that part of myself where it's like, okay, there's somebody who wants to lead and be, take the responsibility of the household, and I'm I had to learn. I had to really learn. That was a hard lesson for me.
Yeah, it was. It was. I remember, but it's being patient once again, right? It's like, that, I know where she's coming from. I understood her background. I understood why. So I said, let me just let her grow into that person without her losing herself, because like same thing, like I don't know how much time we got, but like I said to her, we had this conversation multiple times, which is, I said to her, there's 3 types of relationships, right? There's a relationship of, the man runs things and you just stay home, take care of the house, right? Which is fine. Some people, that's what makes them happy. There's a relationship which is, we're both out there working, doing our own thing, right? And then there's a relationship which is, maybe she's not going to take care of the house, but she's there. She looks good on my arm. And I said to her, I don't want that. Right. So, and I know she didn't want that. I know she can make her own money. I know she wants to make her own money. So I always say to her, go out, make your own money, but you decide which role you want to play and I'll fill in the gap. Right. That was always, I'm flexible. I just said, I'm not going to be a stay-at-home dad. That's the one thing I don't want to do. Right. But when it comes to finances, it was like, okay, I know she needs to have that feeling of, I can go out and take care of myself, right? And me. So I can't take that away from her. And she's not going to take away from me that I can take care of her too. Right. So it's just knowing each other, right? And letting us just be each other, but also meeting each other in the middle. Right.
So that was a huge lesson. That was a huge lesson that we learned.
Yes. Awesome. Selfless. Relationship is a selfless thing, right? And being able to die daily to self so that you guys can give to each other.
Yeah.
I always had my running shoes on. I had to retire my running shoes.
Mercy. I hear you. This was wonderful, guys. Are there any last thoughts that you would like to share with the viewers? Any last thoughts? Anything that comes to mind that you'd like to share with the viewers?
I don't know. I think I don't.
I think we talked about a lot today.
I know. This is great.
Yes.
You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you guys for being a part of this.
I know.
No
This was an awesome.
Thank Alvin, because I was not having it. I was like, you did what? But I'm very glad that I was able to be a part of it.
Thank you.
I guess I know you asked the question. I was thinking deeply about how do you what kind of last things we covered so much.
Yeah.
It's just respect each other, right? Have fun with each other, right? And I said it earlier, don't make money this thing, right? Like it's not that big of a deal. It shouldn't be the reason why things don't work out, right? So if you address it early and you address it often, then it's not a thing, right? So, but yeah, I know, like she said, have a lot of fun, guys, and just make the journey enjoyable. That's all.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so
much.
We appreciate your time. We wish you all the best in your relationship. We see the love.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
And all the best with your future goals. You gave us a lot of helpful information, things to think about for persons who might just be beginning to embark on that new relationship, or even for those who have been in a relationship but really haven't found the courage to have the conversation and to have the honest conversations. So some really good points today, and we thank you so much again for being a part of our platform.
No problem.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us. I appreciate you guys.